Spivey, Jack Aragon, who's shown such form this year, and Jose Gonzalez of Spain, who ran a great 5,000 meters in Oslo. And this is really going to test Steve Ovett, I think. Certainly many of these men well capable of running sub 3:35, which is equivalent to about 3:53 for a mile. And undoubtedly this will be one of the best 1,500 meter races that we've yet seen this year.
Steve Ovett surprisingly beaten by his teammate Chris McGeorge in that international at Gateshead at the weekend, but something of a hysterical reaction perhaps in one or two sections of the press to that defeat for Steve. Certainly there he is, number 12 in the Brighton Phoenix vest, looking a little startled that he'd been asked to move from the lane that he'd occupied to the inside. But certainly Steve himself felt that in a race run as slowly as that 1,500 metres on Saturday with such a speedy final lap, that because of his lack of preparation and his well-publicised injury and illness problems, he couldn't really have expected to live with such a fast finish, and he himself wasn't particularly disturbed. But this is really Steve Ovett's first big test of the season, and amongst those that he will be watching very closely, number 20, look out for him, Jose Gonzalez of Spain, who ran in Oslo in his first serious 5,000 metres and recorded an excellent time, 13 minutes 15. He's the European indoor champion and unbeaten outdoors at this distance this year, and very much the man in form. So away they go then in the men's 1,500 metres. As ever, really when you gather together a quality field like this, you can expect fireworks. Number 22, Kevin Ryan, who acted as pacemaker for Steve Ovett in Belfast on the Mary Peters track a week or so ago, is doing that same job again. Number 22, Kevin Ryan, with Gonzalez of Spain wearing number 20 following him. So Adrian Metcalf, interesting to see really how Steve Ovett will be able to handle a race that is promised to be a quick pace, with Ryan has to knock out 2 consecutive laps of 56, 57 seconds.
He hasn't run at this regular kind of tempo, this really fast running. His races so far this season have been very slow to start with and then a very, very fast last lap. It doesn't look as if they're really fitting in behind Ryan and really running hard. That first lap there,
57.75, so that's just the sort of pace that they need, very similar to the pace that was set for Steve Cram in his great run in Oslo.
Steve Ovett in 6th place at the moment, with Gonzalez the best placed of the favourite, Steve Scott of America, who trailed a long way behind Steve Cram in Oslo last week in that fantastic performance by Cram in 3rd place, with Ovett watching him like a hawk. So Ryan leads then, but we'll expect to see him drop out soon. Gonzalez 2nd, Scott is 3rd, and Aragon in 4th place, with Ovett 5th.
Steve looking just a little bit cautious still. He hasn't done any track racing at all and any track training, really high speed work, so it's a little bit of a no man's land for him at the moment.
Well, they were asked to go through the 800 metre mark in 1:53.
Yes, well, that would have been world record pace. In fact, they've gone through in 1:57.09. I think that will suit most of the runners in this field much better than that extraordinary pace that would have been set if they had indeed gone through in 1:53.
So the ambitious plans of the meeting promoter, quite sensibly, by these quality milers, shelved, and it's now very much a competitive race, with Gonzalez in the lead. Scott is in 2nd place, Aragon 3rd, and Steve Ovett on the inside. And remember, not just a test of his speed this, but a test of his ability tactically, because he hasn't really tested that for some considerable months. And Steve Ovett not really where he would wish to be, I'm sure, at the Velay bit.
Well, 2:42, so the pace has dropped off a lot, and someone's going to go with 300. It would probably be Steve Scott, but Chuck Aragon likes to run. He's in 3rd place there, nicely poised, and again Ovett is tracked in 6th place on the inside, and someone's bound to spring off the front.
So Ovett is going to have to work very, very hard to get in the first 3 here. He was saying that he wouldn't be particularly surprised if 3 or 4 men finished ahead of him today. Not, of course, that he would want that situation as such a great competitor. Scott the leader then, and Ovett has moved through into 4th place, just behind Gonzalez. Scott looking unchallenged at the moment, though Gonzalez is coming strong off the bend, and Ovett too coming strongly on the outside, with Chuck Aragon on the inside. Ovett finishing very, very well, but he's left it too late, surely, to challenge Steve Scott. But still a very good run by Ovett to come through for second and beat Gonzalez. Scott wins it, Ovett second, Gonzalez third. The winner's time, 3:37.
You had the feeling Ovett there, whose last lap was 54.3, was still being a little bit cautious. He was really hesitant to go with 300. He's been saying that he's not been doing any anaerobic work. That's really sprinting with when you're into oxygen debt. And I think he's just feeling his way through these races. And Scott's looking better for him, and he'll be extremely pleased to have got that very valuable scalp. And Ovett, well, it's a useful step towards a long season.
Must be 2 successive defeats, a rare experience for you. Are you sort of bracing yourself for a hysterical reception tomorrow?
No, not really. I hope they understand, you know, I've come back from a hell of a problem since LA. And I don't think, you know, I can really expect to come back at the top level straight away. It's just impossible. I'm obviously lacking some races and a bit of speed work, which I said when I got beat at the 15 up at Gateshead. It's just that at the moment I'm not doing the work that allows me to change of pace to a lot of guys that I've got here at the moment.
You're lacking races and speed work. Do you think you might be just a little bit cautious as well at the moment?
No, I don't think caution comes into it. I think definitely, I mean, I thought that was going to be a faster pace tonight, and that would have suited me because of my strength. But in fact, it slipped to quite a slow pace, and I got boxed and all sorts of problems. And then when they made the break, I saw him go, but I couldn't get at him, you know. It's annoying, but, you know, it's early days yet, and I think with another month and a half, I should be in good shape, but there's no disappointment, really.
I mean, anytime you could beat Steve Ovett, it's definitely a feather in your cap, and whether he's healthy or injured or 100%, I feel quite good about winning the race today.
You're adopting a good attitude, but surely if somebody as competitive as you, Steve, I mean, losing still hurts a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think losing always hurts. But if it was losing without reason, yeah, it would hurt even more. Losing when there's a justifiable cause or justifiable reason, it still hurts. But, you know, that's one of those things. You have to accept that. You know, as a competitor, you have to accept that defeat sometimes is part and parcel of the building process.
Steve Scott's time, 3:37.3, and Steve Ovett, his season's best, of 3:37.74. Gonzalez of Spain coming through for third, just ahead of the 2 Americans, Spivey and Aragon.